evening, everyone. How are you doing? Sorry, I'm a tiny bit late, but I was just trying to make sure I had all my slides together. Last week, something went wrong with my slides and they were acting up, and the computer was acting up, but I got it going. So let's get started. I'm gonna give you a minute to come in. I got judged this morning. Got judged this morning. So this episode of Mavs was a little crazy. It was a little crazy. Thank goodness we didn't hear too much from what's her name? Lindy and Miguel. It was a little bit, but it was the same old thing. She's neurotic. She loves to she really wants to make sure that he's gonna be okay with her wajuju, like her like her manic times. Like I guess, there's been times where, and he can see that she gets in her head and she gets a little, she might go off or um I think that she might have spells. I think that she might have times when she just like pops off and she wants to make sure that he's okay with that. Um I actually think nobody's going to be okay until he actually sees it and he's like, is this something I can deal with? Until somebody sees it, there's no way that he's going to say, oh, yeah, I'll be fine with that. It's fine. No, it's not. And he said, I think I've seen her at her worst. And she's like, oh, no, you haven't. You think you've seen me at my worst? Oh, hell no, you haven't seen me at my worst. I was like, that's scary. Just the much emphasis that she put on that. Like she was like, oh, he definitely has not seen me at my worst. I was like, Lindy, you may want to pull back on that. You may not want to show him your worst just yet. Um, I didn't get a lot of pictures. I didn't, and I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad. This is the only thing I got him. He's like making her breakfast. I guess, it's the 1 month anniversary. So they were going to the harbor and going on a boat, which was beautiful. I mean, it made me very nostalgic for San Diego. Just the views alone just made me nostalgic for San Diego. So I loved that. Um, but she said, since I've been with Miguel, I stopped biting my nails and I haven't had too many outbursts, but this always starts to make me wonder, what are they not showing us? But I also think, just like last season with hey cool gamer, just like last season with what's his name, with Lindsay, and how she would just kind of go off and stuff like that. I said they would show us if she had manic outbursts, right? So like we haven't seen any yet, except for the one time where she was cussing at him and he said, I don't like this side of you. But she wants to make sure he's going to be okay with that. But there's no way to just let somebody know verbally and see if they're going to be okay with it unless they actually see it, and they need to know the levels. I don't know if she's trying to tell him that she's bipolar and she's on medication or what have you. Hence the insurance conversation. I don't know, but I'm wondering what it is and what are these outbursts that she keeps talking about. But the neuroticisms, like the biting my nails and oh, he hasn't seen nothing yet. That's not good. That's not good, Lindsay. You gotta not um I don't know. I know she needs to just control it, but we don't know what it is yet. And the fact that she keeps like warning him is kind of creepy to me. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Y'all, I was actually very proud of Kristen, because to me, Kristen has been putting up a lot, and I said I don't think that she's going to lose herself because they're not going to make it. Not like Katina and Olu. I said she's just going to lose herself in this whole situation. With Lindsay, I said she's gonna break at some point. And luckily, we saw the beginning of her break. She was like, who's going to be there for Lindsay? Where's Lindsay in any of this? Where's Lindsay? And I so appreciate that she said, where's Lindsay? When is Lindsay going to show up? I keep having to think before I move, oh, well, what's Mitch gonna think of this? Well, should I do this if Mitch doesn't do this? If Mitch doesn't like this, what if Mitch doesn't like that? Um, I actually, and I didn't get any pictures of their like weekend at the yoga retreat, but this man, this man and his yelling during yoga was so funny. Um, and I really think that she's doing this thing. You know what we do? We put on our representative at first, and her representatives, let me show you how much of a good wife I can be. And I had a picture of her with her friend, and she said, I'm just going to be the best person, the best wife I can be. I'm going to be the best wife I can be, and I'm going to show up as the best wife ever. And then he'll show up as the best husband ever. Sweetheart, no, he won't. There's just going to be some time when there could be in a relationship where you're showing up as the best person, the best wife, the best um, representation of yourself, and your partner may not show up as the best representation of themselves. They just may not do it. And that's going to show you that that's not who you want to be with, or that's not, he's not the person for you. So she's doing all of these things, the recycling, all of the things. She's really, changing herself for him. But what is he doing? And I really had to think about that during the retreat, because during the retreat, he starts to read his vows and he's like, whoa, I really had to take a look and see, what have I done to be this person that I vowed to be? And I think that he's really seeing that. But at the same time, I was like, this, he doesn't, because he doesn't care. Because he doesn't care. He needs to be with an environmentalist. And those environmentalists he may not be attracted to. But at the same time, this is who you said you weren't attracted to her. So I don't know. I just think that this was a bucket list thing for Mitch, and he said, "I haven't had a lot of lasting relationships. This thing, if I sign up to be married, then they can't get out of it immediately." And I think that this was a part of his growth. He really wasn't really even thinking um that he could be something for somebody else. He was going to see what he could do, why his past relationships weren't working. I really think that this was supposed to be some big thing for him, because he really doesn't care. And it's kind of sad, because I sitting there and her going when she went off on her rant, and he's looking and he's watching, I'm like, "Oh wait, this man has not noticed once that he's like this." And that's kind of really sad because she showed you who you've been showing up as, and he doesn't even he couldn't take it. He doesn't understand. He just finally got it through his head. And I said, maybe after watching this back, I saw him on the after party, and watching it back, he started to realize, whew, yeah, cool gamer. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. So, and I wanted to get a picture of her stomping, but I couldn't get what I really wanted, just a picture. They actually just saw boom, 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 her stomping through the grass. Um, I almost think that she's still talking about the conversation at the at at the honeymoon. I think that this is still the previous conversation. Like, she's still mad about the previous conversation. Now, granted, Alexis should not be talking, but at the same time, what's his name, Justin? He should not be using Justin as a confidant. He shouldn't. I don't know why you're using Justin of all people as your confidant. I know they're friends, but I don't get it. So this girl is stomping through the grass like she's wearing combat boots. She's angry. She's not going to listen. She's like, I am not going to sit down with you if you lie. Um, she's the type of person that no matter what you say, she's not going to be happy with it. She's not going to be happy whether you say, yes, you're right. And, oh, so now you're placating me. Like, she's never going to be happy. Uh, and the more she spoke, I said, she's not talking to Ben. She's talking to her daddy, or she's talking to her ex or whoever. But all of this anger and this betrayal and this disrespect, this is not for Ben. This is what, 3 weeks, and they've really only had one good week out of three. So you're mad about what? You're mad because he betrayed you after one conversation. He just met you. How does he even know that that's a betrayal? And I really had to watch the beginning, first 10 minutes back. So what happened was she's about to leave, and she says, Alexis told me everything, by the way, and that's it. So then she gets her bags and she leaves. So Justin doesn't know what's going on. Not Justin, what's his name? Ben doesn't know what's going on. So of course she leaves in her car. Alexis calls her because Ben's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So then he goes to Alexis's house, sits there with Alexis, and they call her on the phone, and then they start talking, and he's like, and so now she's mad because he went to Alexis's house. But I'm like, how is he supposed to know what's going on when you won't talk to him? So if you won't talk to him, so he's trying to get the answers from her, from Alexis, and Alexis has now stopped talking because she knows that her friend is mad. I'm like, this guy, there's no way that this relationship's going to stay together, but this is going to make him gun shy for all other relationships because he doesn't know what to say. And he did say, he said, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. And he's right. In this situation, she was already angry. She'd already had basically thought of him as her father or whoever. In her head, he was the worst person in the world. So he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. And she doesn't see herself. She doesn't see, I just met this man. How does he know my triggers? How does he know what makes me angry, what makes me sad, what, makes me happy? Yet he doesn't know anything. But she has shut down, and she knows that she's shut down. She's not tried to get to know him. So this whole thing was just a mess. Okay. The mom was giving good advice, and I feel bad for Stasha, but at the same time, Stasha needs to stop, and she needs to really realize this man is doing a lot for her, but she's doing very little for him to make him feel comfortable. And she's like, well, I want emotional connection right now. I want an emotional connection right now. And the same thing I said about Morgan and Ben is what I say about Nate and Stasha. It's been 3 weeks for your 1 month anniversary, a trip to the lawyer's office. Really? Her mom said, she was witness to a really bad relationship between my ex and I. And I think now I do wonder, and this just hit me because I really been taking issue with her, what do you call it, emancipation. I wonder if that was also played a factor. And the reason I say that is because I've been really taking an issue with this emancipation, her being emancipated because her mother wanted to move to another city. It wasn't out of the country. Her mother wasn't being abusive. She's not Drew Barrymore, all of these things. So I didn't understand the emancipation. Now I do wonder if her home health had to do with it as well, just because of what the mother said. But now she's talking to the mother and she's like, well, I need him to show me that he's falling in love with me. She wants all this. And gosh, I don't know what show I was watching. Oh, I think it was Kojo's show where one of the girls said that she might be a love addict or she might be addicted to love. She needs that reassurance that somebody loves her. And it's sad, but that made a lot of sense to me, that she needs that tangible feeling of love, that she needs to be fed. She needs to be fed that feeling of love. But he can say, I love you now after 3 weeks. And after another month, when they sit down with the experts, not feeling that because you've pushed him. I really thought about that. I said, this guy could say, I love you. And because last week he was saying that, I'm at a 4. This week I'm falling in love with you. I'm falling in love with you. I'm falling in love with you. And next week it sounds he may be back to not being in love with her again. So I feel like, Stasha, one, you need to calm down and you need to relax and let him come to these feelings on his own. He could be, I don't know, your acts of service, or your words of affirmation. He might need some more quality time. And I actually think he may be quality time. He might be a quality time person. But are you finding that out? Are you asking him the right questions? Because it looks like you're wanting him to prove everything, but you're not doing anything to prove your side of it. So, and I think she's very much emotional as well. I don't know if she's to the extent that Tree is emotional, but she's up there as well. I kind of want to talk about Nate calling her an asshole, because I think that last episode she was basically saying the same thing but in a different way. She wanted him to answer the question no matter what. And I said, Nate is smarter than we think. He's not articulate. He's not somebody that he doesn't have the big words to use. He doesn't have that but he's smart. And I said, you're not going to force me to answer this question because you want me to answer the question, and you keep trying to get me to answer it and ask it the different way. Oh, so you're committed, but you're not in love? Girl. So I said, you need to stop and you need to pull back. She said she saw in the after party that she saw how much she was pushing him. If she doesn't stop and if she doesn't let this evolve and show him the lighter side of her, then this is just going to implode on her. And I think it was kind of what they call Frankenbitten last week. He could have said, I'm not falling in love with you yet. But he just said, I'm not in love with you. I don't know what next week's going to look like. But I do think the way she's acting is pushing him away, and he needs to see. I don't think that he's the type that's just going to lay around and let the money come to him. A lot of people are like, she's letting him move into the house. She's letting him do this and I said, I don't think he wants to be that type of guy. I don't see him like that. I see Mitch like that, but I don't think that he's lazy. He doesn't come off as lazy to me. The other people, he's lazy. And some people said that Stasha's a kind of a pick-me-sha. I think that she's coming off a little needy. I'm not going to call her a pick-me-sha. I actually don't like the word pick-me-sha, so I use that very sparingly. I always do. But she is coming off just a little bit needy. And I think that she needs to really, if she saw herself back, because she's got a lot going for her, she would not like this. And I think that once she notices and she's like, oh, maybe I will calm down. But I also think whatever past relationships she's had has done a number on her. So now that she's in this experience, this is emotional roller coaster for her too. All right, y'all, let's get good. We're almost done. Are we? I think we're almost done. Oh yeah, we are. Oh yeah. So a lot of people, so I'm going to go back and forth with this. I think this was Tree's fault. I think that this was, and I'm going to say just this specific interaction between them. I think this was a lot on Tree. I think that, or Justin, she was trying to stop the conversation. She did not want to hear this. She was like, let's move on. And she made a face. Yes, she made a face that the camera picked up, but he did not like that she didn't want to say anything. She's like, you don't have nothing to say? No, I don't have anything to say. That's it. I don't have anything to say. So he was like, it just shocks me that, I think we're doing great. You don't have anything to say? No, I don't have anything to say. Leave it alone. Let's move on. But he kept pushing. And so she's like, well, since my husband wants me to speak, so I'll speak on it. You were so congratulatory to Mitch, But then when it comes to when are you going to do the improvements? I don't see any improvements about from you. You're doing these outbursts of cussing and carrying on, and then you have emotional outbursts. I do think that he has emotional outbursts. Not necessarily the cussing and carrying on. I think that's his frustration, but I also think that him um these spurts of crying, I think that there's some chemical, I think it's a chemical imbalance in him. And I also think in Lindy, I think that she has, oh, I don't have a picture of Lindy. Thank goodness. Lindy gets on my nerves sometimes. There was Juju, just constant talking. But I think that he has a type of chemical imbalance. I think that there is, oh, Lord, y'all. Hold on. Let me get back to him. Oh, I think that there is some type of chemical imbalance. I think that he also has a need to show that he's that he can do it. Like he has this need to be like, I'm I can do it without my brother. I can do it. And so he's like, nobody ever told me that I have these spurts of anger, or uh these yelling spirits. Sorry, I'm getting all tongue tied. So I did want to get this picture of Alexis and Justin, where Justin is in the bed with the dog. Justin is in the bed. But that's not Maya. That's not Maya? Is that I thought that was Newton. Justin is in the bed with Newton. Where's Maya? Is Maya still in the detention center? Where's Maya? But I wanted to cover that because we found out on the after party that Justin and Alexis have not done the do. Justin's Justin is they tried, but they were not successful. That's all she said. Uh, there's been a lot of talk on every social media. The fact that he was saying all of this stuff about how big his package is and how, the women only want him for one thing, and then he's not delivering. And then we see him, she don't even have a space in the bed because he's in the bed with the dog. So what is going on? I really want to know what is happening with that. She said that on to her friend that she's doing a lot of emotional regulating for him. I don't like that. As a woman and as the wife, you should not be emotionally regulating your husband, but she is. And this is what I've been saying since episode 2. Since episode 2, she said, just because you have these emotional outbursts and you apologize, it still hurts no matter what. No matter that you've apologized, it still hurts, right? So I said this from the beginning. Alexis is not somebody that's emotionally, her emotions are um, so quick. She's not quick to cry. She's not wearing her emotions on her sleeve, right? So she doesn't cry a lot, and she's not that emotionally in touch, right? um she knows how to compartmentalize, and I think that she is very mature. I think she's a very mature woman. When I say mature, she's very intelligent, and she just knows how to carry herself. But then when she deals with a husband who does not know how to regulate his emotions and has these fits of crying, has these emotional outbursts, that's going to be draining for her. And I said that since episode 2. I said this is not going to work for her because she is so much like, ooh, ooh, emotions, ooh, vulnerability, ooh, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. So that's too much for her. She's not going to be able to do that. I knew it. And I said this immediately on episode 2. I said this is not going to work because somebody that is very much doesn't cry a lot, only cries when, during times that you're supposed to cry, but during grief or what have you, you're dealing with somebody that cries on a drop of a dime. This is not good for her. This is going to be really hard for her to have to be able to um be able to hold his hand through things, be able to nurture him and nurture herself too. Because who's nurturing her? Who is helping her through the times when she's supposed to be able to count on him? That's really what I'm trying to say is like, as your husband, he's supposed to be um, your strength, and he's not doing that for her. She's got his back. She's trying to help him through everything, be his emotional coach, his emotional regulator, and regulating herself. And that's a lot on her. That's for somebody who's never done that. How is she supposed to do that? So this episode, I'm glad that she did have an outburst. I'm sorry, but I am. I'm glad that, and he doesn't know. He's like, so what did I do at this dinner table right now that was bad? And I said, Justin, she was trying not to talk about it. Read your wife, read the fact that she said, let's not talk about it. I just want to listen. I just want to. Now, if you had given her 5 or 10 minutes to just take her breath and say, okay, this is what I want to say, it may have worked. But you just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll speak on it. And she just let it out. She had emotional diarrhea. Then she started crying, and it was just a mess. And I said, this is what she has been dealing with for weeks. So I'm glad that uh, Justin saw her do that, because I don't think that he got it either. I don't think that he seriously gets how his emotional outburst, his constant crying, is affecting his wife. Oops. Y'all, let's go to the fun stuff. Let's get to the fun stuff. Okay. Ready to love. I'm so glad that I caught this girl looking directly at the camera, because I was like, ooh, she's looking directly at the camera. She's looking at the camera, looking at the producer. I got her on that. This was a very interesting episode. I had to watch it a second time because, one, I did not think that Randall was that tall. Maybe because I've only looked at Randall's face, I did not get a full grasp. I said, "Oh, Randall is 6'5". But and everybody's been talking about these hoochie daddy shorts. I said, "Oh, there they are. That is what Randall is definitely wearing some hoochie daddy shorts." Okay. And then he's got this basketball socks on, and I was like, what is happening? I actually think that they're in a real relationship. I don't think that they're going to last, and I don't think that this is right necessarily for the best relationship, but I think that she's feeling him. I think that she is definitely feeling this man. Okay. Because they're just the affection part of it. It's something that the chemical reactions that they're having towards one another, they're really the touchy feely. They really want to be around each other, right? So I thought the friends were cute. I thought that I loved her house, the friend's house that they were at. Uh, but I think that they're really kissy, and they're at least she's definitely in a real relationship. Randall is not in a relationship just yet. He's just there. He likes her. He genuinely likes her, but they're not truly in a real relationship just yet. Or I'm sorry. She is, Jamala is, Randall is not. Okay. Yes, okay. Oh, I really wanted more people in here. Cool Gamer. I don't know if you've even watched the show, but this is the thing. I may have an unpopular opinion on this, but I do think that this was a lot of Kadian's fault. And I say that because at one point, Swayze looked for Kadian to help him out. Swayze said, I'm on a date with you, and your friend is coming at me. Your friend will not let me answer a question. She's just hitting. She's not letting me answer the question. It's almost like her friend was trying to catch him in a lie. Um, it was really bad. And I just feel like, hey, Mimi, how are you doing? Thank you for coming in. Let me know what you think of this specifically, because to me, I think this was a lot of Cadian. I'm sorry, because these girls were sitting there, and she was really more happy to see her friend. She was like, they were like catty little girls. They were just, and her friend just kept hitting him with questions. And then he was like, he was like, "Woo, you're getting on my nerves." And now, granted, he may have not have said he may should may maybe not have said you're getting on my nerves, but at the same time, because he was feeling triggered, this girl would not let him answer a question. And they were just sitting there like two catty little girls. And oh, so you don't date black women. And he said, and I don't know how long Randall's been in Miami, or not Randall, I'm sorry, what's his name? Swayze's been in Miami. But to me, it's Miami. He will have an onslaught of Latin women. Like that's just it. That's just it. So I don't understand why you're so upset. So if he's on the dating apps and he's meeting a lot of Latin women, that's just what he's meeting. So he said in the last 3 years, that's what he's dated. But I also think that for one of the girls he was dating for like 8 months or over a year. Yeah, he was dating her for a while, one of the Latin girls, and then he had a couple of other dates. So I don't think that it's just been um that's specific to, oh, I've only been looking for Latin women. I think that it's Miami, and that's who he has been um, around and meeting on these apps, or where have you, because it's Miami. Look, I'm not upset with him about that. And his daughter's black, his mother's black. I really think that that's just how he's been dating in the last 3 years. I just feel like her and her friend specifically, just kept hitting him with questions, not letting him answer, and really, just jabbing. I really do think they behaved childish. I think that they were both just hitting him with questions and getting his blood up, and he just got mad. And I don't blame him. Like, he's like, that I didn't say that. I never said that. And I don't think he ever said that. I think he really genuinely, I don't think that he doesn't date black women. He's trying to date Cadian. He's trying to date you. And I think that he saw her in a different light, sitting there with her friend, and they were just, I think they were behaving like catty friends, catty little girls in college where they met, and they were just like, and then she said, "Oh, you can get answers to the questions I can't, or you can ask him the questions that I can't." And I was like, I think this, not think, this girl's trying to be messy, and she's trying to get him in between a rock and a hard place. And I think that she was trying to get his blood up a little bit, but I don't think that she thought that he would walk out. But hey, hey, Monique, didn't the friend say she was going to gut him like a fish? I didn't hear that part, but I did hear Katie say you can ask him the questions that I can't, or something like that. And I was like, ooh, I said, these girls, they're behaving like catty women. And at one point, and again, Swayze looked at Katie and like, are you going to stop her? He looked at her like, help me out here. I'm supposed to be your man. I'm supposed to be trying to date you. And your friend, it keeps just pushing and pushing and pushing. And if this is my man, why didn't she say, "Hey, let's calm down, let's change the subject," or something? The exact excuse me, the conversation brought no substance. What a waste of time to get to know someone. What a missed opportunity. I agree. I don't think that it was definitely wasn't any substance, but I think it was a waste of time. I think that she was just trying to get him to say something, or get him out of his character, get him to say something that he didn't mean. And he said, I did not say that. I really don't think he said that. I really think that he was saying, listen, it's Miami. Again, there's Latin women everywhere. That's what I've just been dating the last 3 years. And I actually think one of the women could have been for 8 months or a year. Like, you don't know that. But I think that girl was really trying to push, 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 and the fact that Kadian didn't stop her, and the fact that when Kadian saw that he was getting mad, and Swayze looked at her, I think that not Randall, Swayze saw her in a different light. He said, "Oh," and he just took a step back, and she was like, "Are you really gonna leave? Are you really gonna leave?" And he gave her a hug, but he said, I'm." What did he say? I don't want all that. I'm not here for that BS. He was just done, and I don't blame him. I'm sorry, I don't blame him. That was rude. That wasn't right, and Kadian should have stopped it. Kadian should have said, "Okay, let's change the subject." She should have said something, but they were talking about that for so long. That was just such a missed opportunity, as Mimi just said, because they could have changed the subject. They could have got to know him, other stuff. But he just said in the last opportunity, I mean, in the last 3 years, that's the only thing, that's the only race that I've had the opportunity to date, but that's not my prerogative. That's not my preference. My daughter's Black, I definitely date Black women. And he could have just turned around and said, "I'm trying to date you." And Kadian is Black, but he didn't, because they had already got his blood boiling, and Kadian did not stop her. I saw Swayze look her in the face and say, like, tried to give her a look, gave Kadian a look, but nothing. So it was just sad. It was like, Kadian, you just keep messing yourself up. Like, this is you're blocking you're blocking your own blessings. You were getting in your own way. The friend is about to be wifed up. Why is she running her potentials off? But just because she happy don't mean she want other people to be happy. And then her mentioning that, I am biracial, I'm Chinese and Black. But okay, so we see that. So but she thought that it was offensive that he dates outside of his race. And I said, that's not what he was saying. That's not what he's saying his preference is. That's not what he's saying. I just think that they were really trying to get him. Yeah, they were. I did. Kadian for one, I want to go with the friend first. She kept pushing. She kept interrupting him, not letting him get in the word in edgewise. And then Kadian for letting her do that. They were both catty little girls, college girls. And like right now, Kadian is eating off of her friend's plate. And then Kadian should have stopped her. He looked at Kadian directly in the face and nothing. He was ambushed. I'm gonna give you that. I think he was ambushed. Definitely, he was ambushed. And yeah. So she was like, "Are you one of those dating app kind of guys?" So this must have been a conversation. And this is another thing, yo. This was a conversation that they had that Swayze and Kadian had on the phone or in another setting, just one on one, and then she brings it to the public. She brings it to her best friend and said, and this is another one of just like, let's roast him. Let's get him. That's exactly what this was. I'm sorry, but that's what this was. That's exactly what this was. And hey Mimi, hey Monique. So I really want to go into this too. There was a picture, and I really tried to get it, of all of these dates that Justice was in, that there was two people or another, like a group of girls. Justice at one point was between the two friends, and he was just like watching a tennis match. And so he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." It was actually super funny, but I think that the producers were wrong for this. They've been doing this for a couple of seasons, where they, give it 10 minutes. They'll either give it 10 minutes and have another guy come in, or it'll be a little longer, but then give it 30 minutes or an hour, let them eat, let them get to know the guy, and then somebody else will come in. I don't think that's right. I'm sorry. I don't think that's right. I remember they did that on Sabrina's date with Walter. And although that date was very funny, I don't think that's right. So you got, and I'm gonna say this now. What's her name? Trinika. I don't think there's anybody for Trinika on this show. I just don't. I don't think there's anybody for Trinika, not even LJ, for Trinika on this show. I don't. I'm not saying that oh she's unmatchable or whatever. I'm not saying any of that. I just don't think the crop of guys on this show in this setting, um, none of them are right for Trinika. That's just what I think. Uh, Justice coming in. Well, who came in first? I'm sorry. LJ came in first. So LJ came in first, wooed the ladies, he's got the accent. And actually, what was funny about the women, I want to go back to Trinika real quick. Trinika is she's somebody that one key thing she said, you guys, and I said maybe this because it was really frustrating me how much she liked Justice. And she said, I don't have a good picker when it comes to myself. I'm great with my friends, but when it comes to picking for myself, I don't have a good picker. And I've been like that before. Um, I'm better now, but I said that's why her friends are older. They're her friends, but her friends and mentors. Like she makes her mentors her friends, that they're her confidants that she can count on. That's what I think. I love the what's the name? Girl's name was Doctor and Jessica or something, Doctor something, and I love them. They were older than Trinika. I think they're her mentors and friends, and I think that's I think that she's done some work on herself, which is a great thing. Therapy is a great thing, but I think that's why she has friends that are also mentors that are a little older that can really those are the people that she invited. Yeah. Yeah, LJ was so funny, him swinging that golf handle was so funny. I was like, "Ooh, she got out the way real quick though. She got out the way." Um yeah, it's like forcing extra drama. That's exactly what they did. Yeah, we're gonna go back to the Cadian of it all. Yes. I don't think he has any formal clothes. I know he's a trainer, but he's also ex a basketball player. I don't think Z, you really just stuck me. I don't know that he has any formal clothes. I've not seen him. I've seen all of these guys. Have we seen Mike in any formal clothes? That's a good question. That's a good question. That is a good question. Yes, them summer gym socks, them summer basketball socks were so funny. Oh yeah, they definitely saved her. They definitely saved her. But even we can see Justice isn't it. Okay, so Justice, um, first LJ, because he came in first, right? He's answering all the questions correctly. Yes, if I'd want to get married again, if it would have to be the right person. I love being a father, all of the things, right? Justice comes in. Justice was so funny. Okay, so yes, Justice. Jeremiah 29:11. That is my favorite saying as well. Justice, they asked him questions, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this man is full of sound bites. This man, she's what was the first thing they asked? Have you ever cheated?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I've cheated before. I'm an ex-basketball player. Or I'm a pro basketball, right? I've cheated before. Okay, sure. Yeah, I've done that. So what do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't. I'm gonna let God take care of it." Jeremiah 29:11. He said, when they asked me about future, I'm a Jeremiah 29:11 them. When they asked, however this is gonna go, if they want to hit me with the craziness, I can go left or I can go right. I said, wow. I just as the kind of guy I just like watching people like that. Just like you are a professional a-hole, but I'm just like, yes, he Monique, that's it. Justice is a pull string toy. I said, wow. It was always honestly, people like that are impressive. Like he's like, I'm not going to show any emotion. No, that's it. He said, however they wanted me to go, just Jeremiah 29:11 them. That's it. Yep. Nope. I don't care. Oh, that's how. If God wants me to move this way, that's how I'm gonna go. Yeah, Jeremiah 29:11. Say, wow. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't. I do feel like, but even further in the show, Randall looks like he hasn't gotten a lot of sleep. And I do know that we've seen a lot of podcasts that they have different call times. They're, they could be someplace at 6 a.m., they could be someplace at 9. They don't know. Um, and I do feel like it's showing on Randall's face. To me, it wasn't just this episode, this one, it was the one, I think it's the next scene with him and Mike and Kayla. I was like, ooh, this it's just showing on Randall's face that it's just taking a toll on him. Yeah, he doesn't have, so I thought so too. I was like, I don't think Mike has formal clothes either, but again, it's Miami, but still, I was like, I don't think this man has formal clothes either, though. So Z, that's a good point. Yeah, he needs to go to the barbershop, but I don't know that maybe he's working as well. Maybe he's training personal clients. So yeah, I think the whole thing needs to be shaved up. I'm sorry. The beard is one thing. I know that like the nappy, look is definitely in and he looks good with it, but it does need to be cleaned up. It just does. It needs to be cleaned up. So, but I think that I'm not gonna tease him on that too much. One because Kate Trinika's outfit was bothering me more than Randall's hair. So I'm not gonna worry about I think that it's just the show schedule has been getting on him. So yeah. Yes, we were talking about his come and get it shorts. We were talking about I said, oh, this is what they were talking about, Hoochie Daddy shorts. This is Hoochie Daddy shorts. Some of these shorts, I was like, okay, they're just basic gym shorts, they're whatever. But Randall shorts with Jamala, those were Hoochie Daddy shorts. Yeah, Justice seems so mean. He can be mean to more women going forward and just say, "Hey, didn't you see RTL?" Yeah, that's me. That's me. That's who I am. He just I think he was just doing it for sport. Like now it's just fun for him. Um yeah, oh, when Randall came in, Randall asked the questions, but he came in late. I felt like he just felt like he came in late to the party. He was like, "Yeah, I could do that." Like, and these girls had already um talked to LJ and was just so frustrated with Justice at the point that when Randall came in, they were like, "Yeah, I'm that type of guy." Yeah, and they were just it almost seemed like it was answering questions at school. Like they were like, okay, we're gonna ask him the same questions. And I think that he just felt like, okay, this is an interview. So he was just saying, let me just sit there and let them interview me. So I don't think that it felt like a actual fun golf date anymore by the time Randall came in. Oops, hold on. Okay. Okay, you guys, tell me if I'm crazy. Did Samson look like he just was like having the best time? Like this man, he came in like somebody just literally told him a funny joke right before he hit the door. He was like, "Hey, I'm Samson. How are you doing?" He was so animated. "Hey, how are you doing? I'm Samson." I was like, what is my girl Misha said? Like, she's like, did he just drink too much pre-workout? What is happening? He was so joyful, which is not a bad thing. I'm glad he was joyful, but I was like, what happened right before you hit the door? Like 10 seconds before you hit the door, like the elation. I was just like, what's happening here? He was so joyful. He was so joyful, which was great, but it didn't fit the mood, which I just loved it. But I was like, yes. he came in on cue. It was just like, hey. And then when he's talking in his ITM, he says, I had the beautiful pleasure of being invited to Sharice's house for dinner to meet her friend. I was like, he should have started the show. They should have started with his scene. They should have just opened the show with Samson. Okay, I just like, wow, he is so happy. Um, I like their date. The ladies looked pretty in their Miami yellow and pink. That whole thing was very pretty. The and it just made it made everybody feel comfortable. I did like that. Excuse me. I did like that. Why do you call it fake? I don't think it was. I thought it was weird, but I don't think it was fake. I thought it was just a little awkward, but not fake. I thought this is interesting. I do think. Well, this is what I was getting to, Monique. That Samson is 48. Sharice is 43. Sharice has said, or she's definitely given us the impression that she does not want kids. Who was it? Was it Mike? The first episode, he said, do you want kids? And she said, I have a dog. She does not want kids. He has made it very clear that he does want kids. So I think her being so happy and elated and saying that Samson might be the one, I thought that was very strange because one, I think we're all thinking, what is Sharice still doing here? Why is she still on the show? Like, what is happening? That's one. I do think that but also we know that if what's her name wasn't acting up in an emotional wreck this whole season, Sharika was an emotional wreck this whole season, that Sharice probably would have went. So that's one. But I just think they're not, I don't think that they're right. Fundamentally, it's not going to work. But, age range and other things, I do think that I like Samson as a person though. I do. I just looking at, and everybody was getting on him about bringing gifts. I think that that's him. I think that he's genuinely a good guy and he thinks it's appropriate to bring gifts to to a dinner date and stuff. I think that he's just a generous person. He seems like a generous spirit to me. But you think it was just too much sugar? I think that a super weirdo. I think he's super weirdo. I was trying to be nice. Why do you think? Okay, a weirdo. You think that it was? I thought it was out of sorts. I thought because of the temperament of the whole show and meeting your friend. But I was just like, did somebody tell him a funny joke right before he hit the door? Like, why is he so elated? But I don't know. I don't. Maybe He's one of the ones that did get enough sleep, because as we were just talking about, Randall looks like he needs some sleep. You were wanting her to go from the first day. I absolutely thought Sharice. I was like, Sharice should have been home, but at the same time, there's other people that have just been, acting up. Hey, Miss Creative. I think that I hear what you're saying, Celery. So are the same people going to get mad at Mike for bringing gifts? I just think that that was just something for that girl to say. Like, why are you so upset that this man's bringing a gift? You must not be too upset because you said it in the last show about him bringing gifts, and then he brought you flowers this last time. So I just think that's just him. Thank you so much, girl. Yes, thank you. I had to get it done. Had to get it done. He dresses appropriate. I just think he might be a very generous spirit, but not. I just don't think he's right for Sharice. That's just is not a good match. This is just not a good match. It's just not a good match. He just was so on cue, and he was just so. I was like, why is he so happy? What is happening? What happened right before you came in? So, but I really want to go back to this, y'all. let's get off of let's get off his general emotion, and let's talk about their conversation. So her friend asked, so what makes you just want to have kids now? And he said, so do you know how old I am? And she says yes. And he said, well, that's the answer right there. But then at the same time, you're dating Charisse, who's 43, no kids, never been married, doesn't want kids. So is this the right person for you? um is Would Charisse make that change for him? I don't think so. And I think that they're just two different temperaments altogether. um I just, I don't know. I do think that he brings out a softer side of Charisse, though. I do think that. I think that that is absolutely true. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. I need my subscribers up because I'm trying to get to. I'm not even at 1,000 yet. I need to get my subscribers up because I got a lot of fun things planned. Yeah, so Celery says true. He may be happy because he found the path to the end to take that grouch. Yes, no one else wants. I thought about that. I thought about that he's trying to get to the end. And I think my next, is it this one? No. Okay, we're about to see the, oh, I thought I had the picture of both of them together, of Randall coming in. Let me see if I can get that picture of Randall sitting next to him. So y'all, can somebody tell me why this girl is crying? I just don't know why she's crying. I don't know why she is crying. I had a picture of her, both her and her friend were crying too. I was like, what? I think her friend was crying because she was crying. But I'm like, why are you crying? So I'm gonna start with Mike. Okay, so Mike said the reason why he's questioning is because you see them lips. She has kissed two other guys. I absolutely think that Mike is using that as an excuse. Mike is saying that the reason why he's not all in is because she's kissed, what's his name that's gone, Zoe and Randall. But Mike knows that his main connection, the person he really wants, is Brandy. So um he's keeping that on hold and not going full in with Kayla because he really wants Brandy. I absolutely don't think that it's because he keeps using the fact that she has two other connections against her. And I just think it's wrong. I think that I'm gonna go because I really do think, yeah, he did. Makes her look better. Charisse look better, but I think that he's doing that because he knows that he really is interested in Brandy, and Brandy's interested in him. But he also knows, wow, until the end. I think that Mike is using this to to keep his game face going. I absolutely think that Mike is using this girl as an excuse because he also knows that Brandy's dating around. So let me just date around. Let me just see. So he keeps pushing her and saying, well, I also know that you kissed two other guys and stuff like that. He's not saying that to Brandy because he also knows that Brandy, yes, they both, Mike is my strongest connection. Mike is my strongest connection. But he also knows that he really doesn't want any more kids. And Brandy wants kids. So he's like, just in case it doesn't work with Brandy, let me keep Kayla at bay. I'm sorry, that's what I think. Mike is doing this on purpose, and he's just saying that he knows he's physically attracted to Kayla, he's sexually attracted to Kayla, and he's using that against her. That's what I think. Yeah, both of those men like somebody else more. I think that they would have worked. I'm agree with you on that, Mimi. I think that they would have worked much better. So I do think Kayla has kissed all of the guys that she's been with, and it does frustrate me that Kayla every game day date. Oh well, let's whatever bet they use is she uses a kiss. I think that, girl, don't do that anymore. Don't, and I don't think, not because of Mike. I'm just like, just stop that. Just do something else. I think that she limited herself too. I agree. She could have. I absolutely agree. I agree with that. Kayla could have worked the room more. She did work the room because Mike, Randall. Did she have a date? No, I was gonna say, did she have a date with LJ? I don't think so. I think Mike and Randall are her two main people. But Brandy for sure could have worked the room more. I didn't even know Brandy was interested in Samson. I had no idea. Um, yeah, so I definitely think she could have worked the room more. No, no, no. I was saying that she should have. Oh, does Mike? Wait, Mike finds out Brandy kissed Samson. Bradley, Ari Bradley. Did we find that out later? Because that was an accident. One, that was an accidental kiss. That was an accidental kiss. And two, um, how do we find that out in the deliberation? So we need to find out because that would be very interesting. I want to know. I want to know that. Yes, it is shaming. That's what he's doing. He's purposely shaming her, but he's trying to keep his emotions at bay because he knows he doesn't like her because he knows that she's not his number one connection. So he's doing that on purpose. I agree, Celery. That's just so funny you say that, Celery. Because my first time watching, just especially like this episode specifically, when I watched this, I said, "This seems just I don't. This seems really bad. Like this seems like a weird episode." And then I watched it again, and I said, "This was weird." Every date except for the first date with Jamala and Randall, or yeah, Jamala and Rara, another guy showed up. Now I know that they've done this before, but not every time. Or they had it where one guy would show up when another guy's leaving, but they didn't do it where the guys were supposed to be right there having the dinner with them. Like, I was just like, this is purposefully awkward and uncomfortable. You guys are doing this on purpose. And I'm trying to remember with um Walter, I feel like it was Walter and the muscle bound guy. One of the guys, when the girl that's the singer, the African girl, the singer, he came in with her and another guy. But it wasn't every date. And I just thought this was just really bad. It was just purposefully awkward. So, okay, so she's crying. Please tell me, y'all. Did anybody else think this crying was like, what is this crying? Why are you crying? You're crying because you really want Mike, but your friend said that Randall was better for you? Is that why you're crying? I was like, stop crying. I was like, I was about to call her Tree. I was like, stop crying. I don't understand the crying. Is the crying fake? And then of course you start tearing up, then your friends start tearing up. I said, y'all were just trying to get something for the commercial. You were just trying to get yourself a soundbite and just it's not cute. Stop. So I think that she's really physically, sexually attracted to Mike. Mike is Mike. I get it. I get that. I'm all in for you on that one. But you know this man don't want you. And I think that there's something in you that's saying he's not right for me because of he's not as into me. And that's it. And that's it. Oh, okay. Her friend reminded her of bad choices she made with men. The editing was poor. I agree with that because you know what I'm saying. Because you know why I agree with you on Z. Because her friend said before Mike came in, sounds like red flags to me. Because she said there is somebody else he's interested in. She's like that, but both of them, Randall's interested in somebody else, and Randall don't want you either. Honestly, Randall wants Jamala. So I just think this whole situation, please, Thank you so much, Miss Creative. Thank you for stopping by, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me. Um, Mike seems arrogant. He acts like he's more of a catch. Yes. And then, but you know what? I hear what you're saying, Mimi. He seems arrogant one on one with the ladies, and he's flirting with her. So she was like, "We're drinking Pinot Grigio." What was that? Pinot Grigio. Like he just wanted her to say the word Pinot Grigio. But when Ra Ra came in, you see, this is the guy right here. This is the guy. You see, ain't he so smooth? This is the guy she's interested in. I can't compete with that. I was like, stop playing. I just think that he is arrogant. I think that I don't like the way he is. Z. But now she is 33. She's 33. I think Swayze is 37. Isn't he 30? No. How old is Swayze? I think Swayze's like 34. I'm wrong. I'm wrong on that. Yeah. Swayze's younger. Yeah. Not any real love going on. It's too much drama. Okay, I think we're about to get, let's see. Oh no, oh my gosh, we have more dates. See, this is another time. As soon as LJ walked in, what's his name? Justice. He just kept looking back and forth, and he said, "I'm going to get out of here." I actually don't blame him on this. I don't blame him. I'm not going to sit here while you're talking to another guy. Like I didn't think it was cool. I'm on this aspect. I don't blame Justice. I actually think, and see, this is the thing. Justice knows he's smooth. Now he had his size of shorts. They were good size, good length. They were like a yellow, or I don't know, like a lime green, but he looked cool walking in and everything, and he had a great conversation with the ladies, and the girl said he was easy on the eyes. Her friend liked her, and I think that he actually really likes Looney, but Justice is it's I just he's somebody I just would want to listen just to the verbal gymnastics that he can put you through. But I said, I'm not buying a word of it. But he puts people through verbal gymnastics. And then he's like, I'm not going to sit here while you sit there and ogle at LJ. But something LJ said that was very telling. He said, I'm interested in Looney, but Looney ain't calling me back. I was like, really? Very interesting. I am very disappointed. I'm very surprised. I was like, when she was like caking for him at the end, I was like, really, Looney, why are you doing that? He can't cope with being in a group. I don't. But not only that, I don't think it's the group setting. It's another guy. He wants to be your one and only. He wants to be the one and only. He wants you to have all the attention on him. And that's it. He wants all the attention on him. It's weird. See, I kind of I see your point with her and with Kayla. I think that this was my first time Kayla came off really kind of serious to me when she was sitting there with her friend. Usually I'm like, Kayla, you got to stop like doing the putting your butts in the men's faces and stuff like that. I don't think that she's a hoe or anything like that. I think she's probably a very intelligent lady. But to the guys, I'm wondering what the perception is. So, but I was just like, I kind of got the same impression from Looney though. And I like them both. I think they're very intelligent women, but I wonder if the friend is right that this is the type of guy you always fall for, and look what happens. So, this was a cute date. The weird thing is, I'm gonna say something. I don't think there's anybody on this show for LJ either. And LJ is too cheery and polite for everyone. He's very cheery and polite. I just don't think there's anybody on this show for LJ either. Um, I think that he's doing good with politicking and making sure to make his connections and everything. He's made sure to take all the ladies out, except for maybe Kadian. But I don't think that there's anybody on here that's for LJ. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. If you see something in Looney or who else? Looney or Trinica? Do you see anything for LJ with either of them? I absolutely so I had very high hopes for him the first episode. After that, I was just like, who is here for you? So I was actually very surprised that Looney liked either of these ladies. I mean, that Looney liked either of these guys. I slipped and called them ladies. That is so funny. But yeah, I'm actually very surprised at Looney liking either of these guys because they just don't seem like her type. The weird thing is, I liked her with Samson. I liked the conversation her and Samson had. You think he's not out receiving maintenance? He's not pressed over these ladies. I kind of agree. I think that he just wants to be the island guy. He wants to be the island guy. Hmm. So I just don't. So okay, I'm gonna go for this as well. Is there any of the cast members on here for Looney either? Because to me, I'm like, who would Looney actually go with? Who would? Because hmm, this is what I'm gonna say. When this is over, Looney reaches out to Justice, and that's what Justice wants. Justice wants a woman to kiss his butt. So yeah, yeah, because Looney was really upset about Justice leaving. So I think she gonna would reach out. Okay, let's talk about this. I want to start. I'm glad I got Samson. We knew Mike was coming. We knew Mike was coming. Like I said, been saying this whole episode that they're gonna give them about 10 minutes and then Mike's gonna come. Mike made sure and came for and had a gift for each person and everything. And he Samson came with just flowers for Brandy, but and they accidentally kissed on the lips instead of kissed on the cheeks. I actually thought that was cute. Um, yeah, that's my prediction. That's my prediction. We have your prediction now, Crystal. Post show Looney goes for Justice. I think so. And that's what Justice wants. Justice wants a woman to go and um go for him. I think so. Because I'm like, who's here for Looney? I think that she is like a real, you know, bright. Like she's actually her and Mike, or not her and Mike, her and Samson have the same temperament. Hi, how are you doing? Like they're just so generous with their spirit. So I'm like, if it's not Samson, then who is it? If she's so into justice, then she should just go for justice then. Um Mike copied Samson's yes style. Otherwise, he'd have come empty-handed. I think that okay, so here's the thing. We know Mike and Brandy, they're each other's strongest connection, right? So Mike actually brought, real gifts and everything for her friend and for her. Okay, good going, Mike. But I want to talk about how Samson handled this because I guess her friend asked one question and he said, "Oh no, I really like her." And then he turned to her and said, "Do you know that I really like you?" And she said, "No, I don't know that I know that, we have good conversation and we have a good connection, but I don't know how you really feel." He said, "I really like you, Brandy." Like he looked her dead in her, look at this man's face. He said, "I am really digging you. I'm really interested." I just liked how he handled that. And then he told her what he liked about her. And I'm also glad that he did it before Mike walked in because production is so shady. They would have let him do that in front of her. Or I don't know that he would have done it while Mike was sitting there. I think so too. I think that he was interested. And we also know that Samson wants kids and she wants kids. Hmm. That I know that she's a flight attendant and he's a life coach. I actually think that they would be a good couple. I think that they would really work out. I do too. And I said, am I just falling prey to the? I know that Monique said that it was fake, but I'm just like, am I falling prey to the Samson of it all? I do. I wish a man would just be like, I really like you. Like he was looked her dead smack in her face, in her eyes, and said, I really like you. These are the things I like about you. I'm very interested in you. And I really would like to see where this goes. I was like, okay, you know, and I think also, and maybe this is also the fact that I think that Mike is playing game. I think that Mike is running game on Brandy and on Kayla. So I think he's running game and I think Samson is sincere, but I also think that she might be blinded by the Mike of it all. And I think that I'm so glad that she spread her wings a little bit. Even if it's spread to someone, Samson, hey, spread your wings. Mike is already, I think that he's like, yeah, I'd be open to that. He keeps saying the same words. I'd be open to that. I'd be open to that. That's all you're saying with the kids question. If you ask Samson, yes, I want kids. He's very adamant that this is what he's been wanting. Yeah. He said some bars like he was like, I really like you. I am very interested in getting to know you. Like he was looked her dead in her face. I was like, I like that. I like the fact that he did that. And I think that Mike has said, I'm very open to that. But has Mike really put in the work that she needs him to? But has she given Samson the go ahead to put in that work? Do you really think? Okay, That's so interesting because she turned her head real quick, and then we kissed on the and he said, and then he said two lips for two lips. I thought that was cute. I just thought it was cute, but I maybe Samson is like getting to me a little bit. But that kiss might have supposed to happen, might have, I'm always questioning production. You might be right. Yes, thank you, Z. What was going on with her friend? Well, she was like, oh, as soon as I saw Samson, I said, okay, he's the one. He's it. And then as soon as Mike walked in, I was like, oh, well, maybe Mike. Like, I was like, girl, you need to help her out more than that, right? You should have helped her out more than that. So I was like, your friend did not help you out at all. And she needed some friends like Trinika's friends. That's absolutely right. I totally agree with you on that. Okay. I'm very proud of myself on the screenshot of this one. I'm very proud of myself on this. And her ombre, the ombre of it all. Her and this ombre. Listen. So she says that Swayze, before I say anything, so I guess she just realized after the Sharika of it all, after all of the Sharika stuff, I don't know about why, but she decided not to say anything. She decided, well, until I talk to him, I don't want to say anything. Until I talk to him, I don't want to say anything. I said, who is this now? Where'd you come from? You the main one that likes to talk about people. What is happening? So now she wants to keep her mouth shut. And wants to say now she wants to say now she wants to save face and not say anything. And Charisse is making faces in the corner. And Charisse, well, he talked to me, he was on the phone with me and he told me everything. And he was really upset because, his daughter's black, his mother, he loves black women. And you said he only dates outside of his race. And I said, but wait a minute, Sharice, one, why is he going to you? Because you're the only you're the only Colombian there. Like, why is he going to you? It's the same reason, the same thing that happened with Mike going to Kadian when it was Sharice and Mike. Why was Mike? Why? Oh no, I'm sorry. It was Zoe. Why was Zoe on the phone with you all night? You're like, I talked to Zoe all weekend. Why did you talk to Zoe all weekend? I said, this is stupid. And her, well, I talked to him and I said, she didn't want to say anything. I just think both these girls are messy. Both these girls are the type that you really need to watch. And this was totally inappropriate. It's totally inappropriate for Sharice to say something, but it was also inappropriate for her to put Swayze in that tight spot. And then when it comes down to the deliberation, just say a piece of it. And then Looney comes in and Looney's like, well, just the fact that he's been here for 3 years and he only dates outside of his race, come on. Like nobody believed him. And I'm like, you don't even know the full story. You weren't there. You didn't see the scene. And why would you just assume that? So they both were really throwing him under the bus and really making him uncomfortable on purpose. I just think she did the same thing when with Sharice and Zoe and saying, well, Zoe was I was on the phone with Zoe all weekend. Kadian, when Kadian said that. And now Sharice was like, well, I was talking to Swayze. Why were you talking to Swayze? It was just stupid. It was the whole thing was stupid. And these are just some catty women. And we're gonna see next week. I guess they're gonna get into it. I agree. Swayze must know these two don't like each other, but by calling Sharice of all people, Kadian in everyone's business, but telling nothing about herself. We know nothing about her. That's so funny you say that because Z, I was saying this to somebody else. I said, Sharice, we know that she's an esthetician. She has her own esthetician business. We know that some of the guys are ex basketball players. We know that, hell, we know Justice is an event planner. We know certain things about certain people, and I really started to think about that when Kadian was involved in another scuffle with somebody else. I said, what do we know about Kadian? We don't know anything about her background at all. Sharice was hoping to get somebody else thrown out. She's trying to get, I honestly believe, because she knows she's been on the chopping block 3 times. Sharice wants to see somebody else fight. Sharice is like, how am I going to get my kids to stay in here? I just think so. Yeah, I think so. I think she's trying to get her tossed next because that doesn't make any sense. You've been on the chopping block 3 times. But I was like, girl, Kadian, what are you doing? So you're taking the upper hand now? Okay, so she's in the beauty business. Okay, so I think now you are reminding me, excuse me. Does she have her own beauty bar? Like she has her own she has a brick and mortar, I think. Doesn't she have an actual storefront? I think so. Now I'm starting to remember. I know that she says esthetician under her thing every time. Yeah. Yeah, by him calling, I think that's what that was it. This whole thing was a mess though, because one, this had a lot to do with Katie, and you know that you were acting wrong. And I think her saying, well, I really want to talk to him first. I'm hoping that she would apologize. I'm hoping that she's like, I haven't had a chance to talk to him, and maybe I need to apologize. Maybe my friend was getting went a little overboard. I hope that she would say that, but we don't know. We don't even know yet. Okay. What do you think about this conversation first before we get into you know, you're not the biggest loser? Because he was like, finally, like he was really kind of excited to sit down with Kayla. And he was like, "You look beautiful." And he was really like happy to, but I feel like he knew, because he knows, because he's also been on the chopping block before. But he was like, "I get to sit down with Kayla. She's beautiful. I have never had a date with Kayla before and everything." And then and then she says, "Well, first, I want to know if you know my name." And he's like, "Kayla?" And I said, "Kayla, now you know how this man is. You know how he likes to talk. You know his verbal gymnastics. Why would you do that?" She was trying to like see if he would spar with her like he sparred with everybody else. Because for the way she did that, "Well, do you even know my name?" He just said that they haven't had any interactions. So, they had a call, they had a conversation and everything. "How are you doing?" and stuff like that. And then she says, "You're not the biggest loser. It's time for you to go." And he says, "Okay." We knew that that's how Justice was going to react, because Justice is like, "Okay, oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping something." He was like, "Well, on the other hand, why didn't you come to me? I think that a woman should come to me. I think that I you're the woman, you need to come to me." He really believes this. I really I really think Justice doesn't see himself, and I'm really surprised that I think that they really asked him to sign up for this process. I don't believe that he actually signed up for this process the traditional way of his own will. I just don't believe it. I think that they scouted him out in Miami as an event planner. They needed people because the way he was talking to Katie, or sorry, to Kayla, was like, "No, you should come to me. You should. I'm the man." I was like, wow. All the things he was saying, he really truly believes that. So it was actually just the words he was saying, and she was like, "Well, no, I'm the woman though. You need to come to me." And so I said, "Y'all are going to have this conversation. You guys are going to go back and forth all night." So he knew he was gone, and he was just like, "Okay." And that's it. So next we have this. And I really who was saying it earlier that LJ is just not here for these ladies. He just doesn't care. He doesn't see anybody here from. He's just here for the process. He wants to hang out and have a good time. I really just looking at this, and when somebody said that, I remembered the end, and I said, I agree with that though. He was like, "So what happened in deliberation? After if you get a call after the ladies' deliberation, you know what's coming. So what happened? What are they saying? What are they saying? What are they saying?" He just didn't care. And I now I'm taking a really good look at this shirt, and I'm like, what is happening? What who told you this was a good idea? But as well, I'm also looking at Looney, because Looney really likes him and she really likes Justice. Again, that's my prediction. Celery '08 just said it, that she was so upset that they're kicking Justice out that she's going to do a lot of the work. She's going to place that call to Justice after this. And "I'm really sorry you got kicked off. And I really would love for us to hang out some more." And Looney is just all about the justice of it all. Mm-mm. To get some, you think that he was trying to get some business from Tommy? That's interesting. Mm. Justice was done wrong. Kayla, Katie, and Brandy were gunning for him from the beginning because he wouldn't chase after them. Looney had a legitimate connection with him. Nobody has a connection with LJ. Well, we said that earlier. Stay tuned reviews that nobody had a connection with that. We were like, I don't think there's anybody on here with for LJ. But I want to go back to what you just said. Kayla, Katie, and Brandy were gunning for him. Why do they have to gun for him? Why? I don't. I just didn't. I don't see that. That they were gunning for him. Katie and Katie, maybe. Katie and maybe. Brandy, I don't think that she cared. I don't think that he's been on her radar. She's been all about Mike for this whole time. Kayla's had her her neck spinning with the other guys. I just don't think she cared. Um, that's an interesting take. The Looney will go next because the reason why I think that that might be true is because I'm looking at her connections. Justice, I guess she had a connection with Justice, LJ, and that's it. But we know that LJ really, there's nobody here. There's nobody here on the show for LJ. Um, if LJ makes it to the end, then you know the show is fixed. He was a friend zone from the very beginning. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Justice definitely came to get business. I think that he wants to get his name out there for his event planning business. Absolutely. Just like I think that Sharice, she's an esthetician and she owns her own shop. I think that she wants to get her business out there. That's absolutely what I think. Thank you so much, Miss Creative. I really appreciate that. So, two grouches, yes, because so they got Justice gone finally. I'm thinking it was going to be Sharice. I'm like, why? What is Sharice still doing here? But I think although Z, you have a point. I think it could be Katie and or Sharice. I'm sorry. If Samson wants to date Sharice after this, he can. But the truth is, I think that Samson and Brandy is a better connection. So I think it's Katie and or Sharice. That's my prediction. That's who's next. Um, because and Looney, who else besides? Huh? I wonder if Looney and Swayze should go out. Because I'm sorry, but after this, uh, what's his name? Swayze has lost all, I don't know about all interest in Cadian, but she has fallen hard in Cadian's eye. I mean, sorry. Cadian has fallen hard in Swayze's eyes. Swayze is very, very uninterested now. He's just the fact that she didn't save him, that her friend was going and going and just gunning. Yeah. What does he say? Friend had no boundaries, and Cadian has already shown she has poor boundaries. Yes. Yeah. Cadian's not ready to love. I absolutely think that the way Cadian handled that interaction with her friend, that turned Swayze off. And I don't blame him. I really want to know. Stay tuned reviews. What do you think about the interaction? We're gonna go back, y'all. So that he knew. Oh, also before I go back, the way Looney told what's his name, LJ, that you're staying in the game, she was like, so you are still ready to love. Like I was like, girl, stop trying to, the production told you to drag it on. Stop, just stop. I was just like, move on already. But yeah, this whole interaction. Oh, we were all the way in the beginning, y'all. I think the fact that he saw how she reacted when she was around her friend and that she did not help him, she did not talk to her friend, she didn't tell her friend to back off. I think that really um gave him that really let him see. He's like, no, I'm not doing this. He said, and actually he said it, I'm not here for the BS. What did you say? If men had been allowed to ditch Sharice and Cadian earlier, imagine what might have happened. That's interesting. But Cadian and Looney will be in the bottom next week, but Cadian will get the boot. So you guys, I do have a question after seeing this as well. Do you guys think that Sharice is going to last to the end? Do you guys? Because I'm just like, girl, this girl's still here, and I said, is it gonna be her and Samson at the end? Because I'm just shocked that one, I'm shocked that she's still here, but two, I'm like, I'm wondering if she's got that, she did enough politicking to stick around. Without men trying to sabotage everyone, imagine what might happen. I think Charisse may stay around for some reason. Just the fact of how she's handling certain situations, but also she's also getting into it with certain situations. She's bringing that drama. Yeah, they were off limits as drama assistants. Yeah, I just think this whole thing right here, and then her and Charisse are gonna get into it next week. Katie and Charisse are the new Carmen. And what's her name? Carmen and who? The Zadia? Her? Hmm. Interesting. That's why Kadian is so pressed to prove she and Sway had a connection. She doesn't want to be next. Joy when the second connection is shown, the next Joy. You got to establish them boundaries from jump. Your friends be in their boo, be with their boo, then you're over there looking crazy. Exactly. She's not establishing the boundary. That's what pissed Swayze off. You need to establish some boundaries. I know that's your best friend, but you need to tell her to back off. And he did, and she didn't. And he didn't like that. And I actually agree with him. Like he looked Kadian dead in her face and said, listen, tell her stop. And it was not cool. Y'all, this was so much fun. Thank you so much. I should just leave it at this. This is what we're going to see next week is up this one. We're about to see this next. So I'm just wondering how this is going to go. Yeah, at the table. And wait a minute. Who are they sitting at the table with? Are they sitting at the table with Swayze? Or is it? I thought it was Mike for some reason. I was like, who are they sitting at the table with? Because I just wonder who they're sitting at the table with. And I think that Charisse does the same thing she usually does, is just start going and just start just pulling just pulling out all the knives. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Swayze and Kadian are allegedly dating. I saw a couple pictures. Yeah, I did see that. Thank you guys so much. Please rewatch Gang This. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Because I've got a lot of great content coming. As you just saw, I'm also doing Love on Stage tomorrow. That's on the Kev on Stage Studios app, and we're in episode 6. So season 2, episode 6, and I'm going to go back and do a retrospective of season 1, because they actually are making love matches on that channel. They do 3 connections and 1 connection. Robert and Bria just got married last weekend. So thank you guys so much, and see you next week.